It's not an uncommon occurrence for athletes to receive hateful comments from people. It's almost basically something that comes with the profession. The NBA's 2019 draft biggest star, Zion Williamson, aged 22 years, was severely critiqued about his body. What did Williamson have to say to the body shamers? How did he later ignore them and resurrect himself? Watch this video to the end for answers. First up, what did Zion Williamson have to say about the media criticizing his body? Basketball media panned Zion Williamson after he missed the entire 2021-2022 NBA season due to a fractured foot he sustained over the summer. He was called a bust for yet another injury, but when people saw images of him in broadcast advertising or on social media, they started to pay closer attention to his weight. Williamson gained 15 pounds since joining the league in 2019 and weighed over 300 pounds before the start of the previous season. Up until the week when Williamson talked to Fox Sports about the body shaming he experienced, the negativity had been ongoing. Williamson said what people fail to realize is that if they have children of their own, even authors and other professionals may relate to how he was spoken of, criticizing his appearance and his body. Williamson is averaging 22.7 points per game this year, and 18.9 of those points, the second best percentage in the league, come from within the paint, thanks in large part to the coaching staff that spent many hours working out with Williamson and his personal chef, Jhonas Lewis. Over the offseason, Williamson has developed into the force the league knew he could one day become. Williamson had 2 enormous Dr. Peppers with his food because Lewis had changed his eating habits. What's more, Lewis's meals would bring Williamson up to a healthy standard. Lewis remarked, saying that he didn't know if he was supposed to reveal the amount, but he shed well over 35 pounds for sure. He said he was losing nearly 7 to 9 pounds every week. He began to see the effects by the 3rd week. Zion could not be made to wear a shirt for money. It's easy to conclude that Williamson is content with his weight, yet the remarks continue to bother him. It appears that Williamson, the Duke product, is using the weight taunting as motivation to succeed based on how the Pelicans have played with him on the floor. Williamson claimed his weight was brought up whenever they spoke of him. They might not have even recognized the effect that could have on you, in my opinion. How did Williamson ignore body shamers and come back stronger? The comment Zion Williamson heard about himself still bother him. He was called fat, lazy, and a failure. He gained weight while receiving treatment for a fractured right foot that kept him out of action. For Williamson, who was predicted to be an MVP caliber player and was also chosen by New Orleans with the #1 overall pick in the 2019 NBA draft, found it heartbreaking that he had been reduced to nothing more than a target of cruel weight jokes. For Williamson, a lot has changed since then. He arrived at training camp with a noticeably slimmer frame, answering any doubts about his ability to shed weight, and with a 25-point, 9-rebound effort in his regular season debut against the Brooklyn Nets last month, he quickly put to rest those who were questioning if he could ever be great again. Williamson received praise from LeBron James following a recent game against the Los Angeles Lakers. James remarked, saying that no one has ever seen a talent of his stature, his speed, and his athleticism. There are simply some previously unseen talents that enter our league. Williamson has a difficult and winding road to get back to becoming a superstar. Following the injury in the summer and a discouraging setback with his foot last season, Williamson went into a deep hole. He was initially predicted to remain sidelined for around 5 weeks before he could begin ramping up. However, imaging in December revealed a slowdown in the mending of the bones. He experienced a sense of having the rug pulled out from under him. Williamson attempted to conceal his intense disappointment, but despite his attempts to hide his suffering, Pelicans assistant coach Teresa Weatherspoon was able to see it. He appeared to smile, but she realized it wasn't a genuine smile. He carried it to conceal how he actually felt from others. Williamson's weight increased since he was not able to play basketball or perform fitness exercises. He was soon used as internet fodder. He appeared heavy in pictures that went viral. Reddit boards were devoted to individuals making fun of him and estimating his weight. Williamson said that it was horrible because a lower body injury dictates how one walks and how they run. That defines how they conduct daily things and how they move. He then said that for the world to judge him in such a manner when all he was doing was making sure his foot was straight, it was a lot, and he won't lie to us about that. Williamson spent a lot of time listening to music, especially Notorious B.I.G.'s Ready to Die album, which in his own words, changed my life, by making him feel grateful for the simple fact that he was still alive. He also relied on his close friends and family for support. Weatherspoon turned into a confidant and support system. Willie Green, the coach of the Pelicans, had an ACL tear in his 3rd season in the league and claimed that during that period, his weight increased from 205 to 230 pounds. Green could thus relate to Williamson and had a profound understanding of what he was going through. Williamson praised Green for never interrogating him. He constantly told him, "Z, if you need someone to talk to, let's go out to lunch or supper." Williamson's mother and stepfather had the best of intentions, but occasionally they would read news headlines that worried them and then phone their son to question him constantly about his development, which just made him feel more anxious. Williamson told his parents that once his foot heals, he would get back on track, and he kept his word. After a 2-month rehabilitation stay at Nike's campus in Beaverton, Oregon, Williamson, he was given the all-clear to resume basketball activities in March and returned to the team in New Orleans to support them. He committed to an extension of his deal with the Pelicans in July, which is said to contain weight and body fat goals and could be worth up to $193 million depending on incentives. Williamson worked out twice a day with sports medicine and performance specialist Jasper Bibbs in South Florida during the off-season. Williamson would begin his first practice at 4:30 in the morning before continuing at night, switching between the track, football field, and basketball court. Now, let's talk about the food parts of his rejuvenation. In addition, Williamson employed Jhonas Lewis as his personal chef from July through September to prepare every meal, including breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Lewis, a former University of South Florida walk-on football player, dropped 120 pounds by simply changing his diet after peaking at 347 pounds during his athletic career. Williamson first underwent a detox. Then Lewis put him on a carb cycling regimen, where he would eat primarily proteins and vegetables and only sometimes include good carbohydrates. Williamson was burning, according to Lewis, more than 2,000 calories per day through exercise, and the goal was to lose weight without losing muscle mass. The program was incredibly effective. Lewis once prepared a turkey bolognese for Williamson, but he used kneaded zucchini, cucumbers, spinach, and arugula instead of pasta. As is customary for personal chefs serving their customers, Lewis gave Williamson a breakdown of the dish's ingredients after serving it. Williamson, however, scowled in contempt. A new understanding developed after that. Smoothies that Williamson enjoys now contain spirulina thanks to Lewis. Instead of mashed potatoes, he would prepare mashed cauliflower and flavor it with truffles and garlic. He always served whitefish or salmon for dinner, along with a variety of other proteins. Williamson's plate would be initially prepared by Lewis to ensure protein control. Williamson made it plain that he needed to feel like he wasn't on a diet for this to succeed, though. He requested family-style dining so that he wouldn't feel excessively constrained. Williamson desired to gain the ability to make wise decisions for himself. The player's palate eventually evolved. He began to appreciate nutritious cuisine and crave less sugar. Williamson needed to break some unhealthy habits before he met Lewis. Williamson has been averaging 22.7 points on 52.4% shooting, 6.9 rebounds, and 3.7 assists, and 31.9 minutes per game for the Pelicans this season, who are now 5-4 and in 7th place in the Western Conference. After a 17-month hiatus, he appears more alert than ever. Williamson does believe that the world has only witnessed a small portion of his potential. His toughest obstacle right now isn't proving people wrong. It's proving that he was right. Weatherspoon constantly recognizes his potential. Williamson, according to him, can move in any direction and shoot from any spot on the court. He smiled and continued by saying that everyone simply sees that he goes to the rim. LeBron James concurs that Williamson's potential is limitless. Williamson has advanced greatly. He moved from being the target of internet trolls to having the league's face speak highly of him. He switched from thinking about whether he would ever play basketball again to focusing on being one of the finest players in history. The latest occurrence in Williams' life is really a testament to the fact that you shouldn't let what others say about you keep you down. You can get up and do something about it. What other athlete do you want us to feature? Let us know in the comments section. Please like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.